Now let's talk some of the action taken with the Westover Beer Garden. Obviously a longtime neighborhood favorite. Everybody knows the Westover Beer Garden. But they came to the board with a request. Let's talk about that.
Indeed they did. So this actually started last year. The Westover Beer Garden was looking to greatly expand the number of outdoor seats in particular that they had. This is, as you alluded to, a well-loved community gem. There is something about being outdoors that just seems to facilitate this sense of community. And
the beer probably helps.
The beer probably
and food.
It doesn't hurt anyway.
And the dogs and children.
Yes,
We've heard
and the
some
children.
really lovely stories at our hearing on Tuesday. So we were very interested in the idea of expanding outdoor seating for them. We ran into an obstacle, which was our zoning ordinance, actually. The Westover Beer Garden is located in a neighborhood, so whereas we have the flexibility to increase the number of outdoor seats relative to the number of indoor seats in our more urban areas, the Roslyn to Ballston corridor, the Route 1 corridor, the county board actually didn't have that authority under our zoning ordinance for Westover. So because this was so important, our hardworking county staff actually undertook a zoning ordinance amendment to give us the flexibility. And so Tuesday night was about exercising that flexibility, and we actually went up to 102 seats, or the number of seats allowed under the certificate of occupancy, whichever is fewer.
Yeah, because we're not really quite sure yet
about what the CO will allow.
What the certificate of occupancy will allow.
Yeah, so you know, it should help Westover Beer Garden come in kind of legally with the appropriate approvals to really continue to create and foster that sort of outdoor space that really is beloved.
Yeah, and I was struck by a couple of things. One, this is what we do so much of this, where it's an there's this neighborhood play everybody likes, and it creates noise. So the immediate neighbors are upset about the noise, and as you know, we become more urban. It's a constant sort of balance to keep it right. I was going to say conflict. Yeah, it's a conflict, but we try to balance it out. And then, as I remarked in the meeting, I was really struck though by how very civil the public hearing was. It was it was very heartwarming is what I call it. People coming and talking about what it means to their dogs, their kids, the neighborhood. Somebody met their wife there. I mean, it was just delightful. There were a few people coming to be upset about the noise. Nobody hissed, nobody booed, nobody. You really felt it was a community that you could have different views, and everybody cared about each other and was committed to the neighborhood, and that was lovely to see. And that's we see that a fair amount in Arlington, and I hope more and more, because that's what makes us what we are, which is a wonderful place.
Yeah. And as Libby was alluding to, there are some ongoing differences. Generally, the additional seating was pretty widely supported. There are some concerns about the music, and we know the proprietors of Westover Beer Garden would have loved the opportunity to expand the number of nights they can offer live music. We did expand the number of nights on which they can do piped-in music or play a sports game on the patio, for example. But we did not at this time expand the number of nights where live music was allowed, out of recognition that there are changes coming. We've got some folks in the neighborhood who are having trouble sleeping on the nights of the live music already. So we'll keep balancing it, and we'll have another bite at the apple. They'll come back for renewal of that permit in October. And so we can see how it's working and maybe consider the live music request then.
Okay, so we'll see what happens for there. I mean, do the neighbors have recourse if the conditions aren't followed? How does that all work?
That was a subject of pretty extensive conversation, and one of the things that's challenging actually for folks across Arlington is kind of trying to navigate that, what their rights are when music is allowed and disallowed. So we've talked a lot about wanting to make sure that our police, because usually these are after hours, so you can always call code enforcement, but they do keep somewhat regular business hours. So after hours, you call the police non-emergency line.
Non-emergency.
Very important, right?
Call 911.
Yeah. And they can come out, and they can.
And they will come out.
And they will come out. And if they're in violation, of certain behaviors, that they can take actions and issue citations. But it is a little bit that challenge of, oh my goodness, is this piped-in music, and what hours are those allowed? Is it live music, and what hours are those allowed? So one of the things we actually did put in as a site plan condition was asking that the information be clearly posted about what's allowed and when, and contact information for the appropriate person at the Westover Beer Garden constantly be posted and updated to reflect the person on duty. We hope, given the collegiality in the neighborhood, people can continue to work it out directly.
Yeah, ideally, if somebody has a problem, they just go and talk to somebody at the Westover. We don't even have to bring in the police, and they just work it out themselves. And I think that's been happening more and more, so it's good.